How's it going, guys? We're going to take a quick look at the markets. First, I want to use this video to give some perspective into what we are seeing at the moment. Not focus too much on the signals, but rather get an understanding of what kind of price action we are expecting and whatnot, right? So the first way to get some perspective is to understand where we are within the current cycle, okay? So the first thing we have to understand is that we are overextended, right? We have breached all-time high, so we are sitting pretty high. To the left here, you can see the gold chart, right? Where we have expanded away, and we're getting pretty overextended. Keep in mind, this is a weekly chart. I'm not bearish at all whatsoever, but you understand that there can be a time here for a potential pullback coming a bit lower. That is potentially on the cards. Now, also, if you look at Bitcoin to the right here, I want you to see that if you look at the wicks that we have created here, and all these open and close, you can see them, all the open and close has been within these levels, okay? So the key liquidity is now sitting at the open and close, right? And you can see that each open and close, you open, we move lower, we open, we might retest, slide, we move lower, okay? So there's a very sort of price action attached to what we are currently seeing now for Bitcoin. And also, if you look here on the 3-day, we don't need the 3-day, but let's even use the weekly. On S&P 500, you can see here that in terms of price action, that we have a sell signal, right? This is the key formation where you're having all the open and close, and they're closing back lower, right? So we're retesting. So we have previous all-time highs right there with a nice consolidation. We also have these ones, right? So there's a possible that we need to use a few months to reset everything and come back in towards some of these levels, okay? But at the same time, you know, we can also make this as a consolidation above all-time highs, right? So if if you look here on Nasdaq, this is from 2010. You can see that we had these ones, right? So it's not exactly the same. This doesn't look that bad as we are now, but still, you're having these ones, right, where you open the candle lower, and these ones, and essentially what we are creating is just these pennants, right, to move higher. We're currently not forming a pennant, but it's something to note, right, that we can consolidate in different fashions above all-time high and then continue higher, okay? Because usually when we are in an extended phase, we might go for a longer period of time, right? So as we understand now the risk here of moving lower, okay? And just to get a few targets, I think we can move into higher time frame on Bitcoin to begin with, and just do a breakdown of what we can see on Bitcoin, right? So for me, what is important here, I've been using the last few days since the breakdown just to refine some of my indicators and whatnot. So if you look here on the weekly, right? So there is no, there's basically a sell signal, but it doesn't really count, right? What's more important is the formation. We can just understand that is a potential signal there. It's bearish divergence, but it doesn't mean that we have to sell off, right? On the weekly, right? Because on the weekly, it's a different story. And I've taken away most of this. I'm trying to get rid of sell signals because I'm not really interested in sell signals, right? I'm interested in buying and taking profits. Taking profits and sell signals are not the same, right? So it means that when we're getting into some of these overextended areas that gives bearish divergence or gives sell signals, I'm rather keen to take some profits or profits in general than looking to short, right? I'm not really looking to short. Now let's go slightly lower here on the daily, and you can see that we're having a few daily sell signals, right? We're having some sell signals there, as I said, and then this one as well, as you can see that and the bearish divergence coming into this high. Now, what is important here to note is that what we're looking for, right? Because remember, we didn't have a buy. We don't get often buy signals, right? When you get a buy signal on a daily, it's like you ape into it because they are so rare, right? That happens every once in a while. And you can clearly see that from this one. As you can see, this was the only buy signal on the daily, the whole uptrend, and you can see what a massive move we made afterwards. Okay, so you don't get them often, because to get a signal in it has to be very extreme, right? So the thing here that I'm interested in seeing now is that you can see how we slowly breaking down, and we're sitting at the bottom of this area of liquidity. And I want to see if we can use these levels here, okay, to find a potential bottom. Maybe we do go slightly lower, but as seeing what we're seeing on the candle at the moment, I'm interested in seeing that we actually start to move back up into some of these regions, right? And this can then start just moving this into a potential pennant still, okay? And see if we can reverse price. Now, as I said, the issue for me here is on the weekly that we're having all the opens and close are happening within the top formation of the range. So the main resistance, right, it means that the distribution is happening around 70K. Right? So 70K is the distribution. If price would to reclaim or do a bullish weekly above 70 or into 70, right, that would be a major buy point, and we will easily breach towards the 80K. Now, on the other hand, pretty simple, right, is that as these are the opening and close, okay, this is the distribution, this is the support line, right? So it means that if you're actually starting to move lower, we will trend and start to expand, right? And then you would have 50K and 40K lower, you know, as an understanding of where price will take you. Now, just to do this quick reference, if that would to happen, I would assume that as well that S&P 500, as an example here, would take us back towards all-time highs, right? So for me, that would then I would expect, if that would to happen, that S&P as well would, you know, come back down into this consolidation around 4,700 or something like that. Okay, just to give a correlation for that. And at the same time, just to give here, if you look at Solana, just to give you a market structure understanding of this, right? If that were to occur, that would mean that the top formation that we're currently forming, right, would then be this is sort of the top, right, and then that we are creating sort of the shoulder, and then we're moving lower, and we will move a complete market cycle, okay? Because a complete market cycle is simply just price have an accumulation range. We expand away from that extremely, okay, and then we're coming back all the way back down into the core consolidation, where we have the majority of liquidity basically as point of control of the whole consolidation, right? That means that we will come back towards the $50 mark for Solana, if that would be the case, just to give a perspective of the magnitude. If you actually get a breakdown, just to give you guys the perspective that you need, right, to move forward trading the next few days and weeks. All right, so let's get rid of these drawings. All right, so understanding that that's where we're sitting now for Bitcoin on the daily. Now, if you go to a slightly lower time frame, we're starting to see buy signals as well coming back in, right? So if you look at the bottom here of the chart, you can see that we had buy signals around this range. We had the buy signal, and you can see sort of what happened to buy signals there. We had a move upwards, right? We had one small sell signal right there, and you can see how we came all the way back down. And now we're getting a few signals here, right? But that could also be the extension, right? Because if you look to the left of the chart, we also had some sell signals before, even though and still moving higher, right? So just getting these buy signals in itself do not give the whole understanding of what we're currently seeing, okay? But I'm interested to see where this can take us, right? And we can also bring on cycles here as a perspective that we're getting into the highs here and the potential bottom of this, right? And we're getting slowly into a new trend, okay? So that's something to take with us. So 4-hour chart, On Bitcoin, we're getting we're getting some decent buy signals, right? You can see here we're getting some decent buy signals. So I want to see how we react to the lows here, and see if we can take price, and see if price can take us higher. Okay, so I'm interested in that. Now my only issue, as even on the 1 hour chart, you can see we're coming back down. We're getting a lot of smaller here. We're getting that extension for now, and I'm seeing that we're getting that potential divergence, and we can see price retracing back up into the New York Open. Okay, that's something I'm very interested in, if we can get that. Okay, so that's simply put what I see on Bitcoin. I think it's slightly difficult, but I don't want to be bearish at support, right? Even though we're potentially getting sort of a trend change, but still, let's see how things takes us. Now, if you look at some of these altcoins, Solana, I would prefer Solana to come slightly lower before into some of these levels here. We're starting to get the bullish divergence here on the daily, which means that we can start to look for buy signals. I would prefer slightly lower here to complete sort of a cycle, right? Because keep in mind that it seems that we are now completed the current cycle, and it would need a few days here to create a rounded bottom. So for my cycles indicator, I think around end of April, in around 1 week, should be sort of the bottom, what it seems like. So I think we're going to chop here for this week and then see where it takes us. And the same goes for AVAX as well. This on a daily, we're getting some buy signals again here on this chart, but it doesn't seem like if I use here the indicator I will show you at the moment here. So let's see here if you can see it. So we're getting a potential trend shift won't happen before 27th, towards 27th, 25th of April. Okay, so it seems like 25th of April is when we're gonna start getting potential bottom, and we're getting that divergence ticking in as well, right? And we're sitting at the lows. Maybe we do one stab lower is something that I would like to see. So I think that's about it. I think the formations are more or less the exact same that I want to see. Now, so if you look here on Engine Coin, we had all these major sell signals, major distribution, and we're selling back down into some of these core levels of liquidity. But we won't do a complete market cycle before we going towards the 10 mark. I'm not saying that we will get there. You know, this can be it. But if you look at, as a good example, if you look at AVAX, and if you remember previous bear market, if I take you to previous bear market, you can see this formation right there, right? So if this was the not bear market, but the previous bull market, so you can see how we made this massive price run. This here is a distribution very similar to this, right? And then you're coming back down. So often in crypto, you'll see that we're getting this extension. Give me 1 second now. So we're getting that that extension, okay, and then we're having this consolidation, sell-off, and then reaccumulation, right? That was a very beautiful pattern, right? Which, you know, and we repeated that once again, right? So if you look at that in terms of a fractal, we did that again, right? Exactly the same sort of thing. So what we're currently seeing, we might do the same fractal, or we could do something like this one, right? So we're taking these all-time highs. Maybe we will just, you know, sort of chop maybe just make a longer range, or if you're going to do a completed market cycle, right? So EOS, you know, is a good example for this. Which one? Give me 1 second, guys. Let's find the main one. EOS, USD, Bitfinex, maybe. Yeah. So you can see this is also a good example of what kind of price action can happen, right? Because you're having one cycle, and then you're having this accumulation, right? The pumps, and you come back down, and you're doing this. I don't remember what it's called, right? And just lower and lower and lower and lower. And that's something to take with. I'm not saying that will happen, but understanding, you know, how price and can move certain times is important in my opinion. Right? I don't think AVAX will do that, of course, but you have to keep that in mind when you're trading these charts, because they don't have a long lifetime, right? The lifespan of some of these altcoins are very short, right? They're not long, so you have to sort of have that mentality that is a potential. It's a potential loss, basically, right? Unless you're involved in something larger, sort of like Bitcoin, which is, of course, having the most time in the crypto, right? So in terms of other coins are looking good. Runa, extremely good here. You can see that often it takes a few signals. It's not often, because when you're getting low price action like this, I think you can use two ways to view this. This is that if you're having a top formation, okay, and the top formation goes very sideways like this, rounded bottom before moving back up, right? In our case, we're having something different, right? We're having more or less extreme price movement up, right? And then we're having this as a sell-off, and then you're having extreme price movement lower again, okay, which makes it a bit different. So that means that often you can see we create a rounded bottom and potentially coming back up. Let's see if we can see something on the log scale. No, I don't see anything in particular, to be honest, but that's something, right, to take with you. Let's go to the weekly on this one, just to give you sort of a viewpoint of what we can see, because if you repeat the previous market cycle on this, right, will we get the same thing? That's what I mean. Like, it's kind of annoying to watch it. I don't really think so, but you know, I just want to put it there, right? Will we get a miniature of this, right? You know, keep it, you know, everything is, I'm not saying this will happen, but it's something to take with you, right? When you're trading these shitcoins, you never know what will happen, right? So, you know, you can hold this and it doesn't go anywhere, and then suddenly, right, out of nowhere, in 2015, it just do this massive pump out of nowhere, right? And you just sold the bottom, and the people are bragging about it on Twitter, right? Just understand these cycles, because it's clearly for you to see now that if you see these shitcoins selling off 70, 50, 60%, and Bitcoin is barely 10+% from all-time highs, right? And also we've broken all-time highs, right? And let's not forget that, right? On Bitcoin, we have broken all-time highs, while many of these altcoins are still sitting halfway through it, right? So, you know, and you can really use the AI coins as a great example for crypto, because AI coins, Nevada, whatever, in stock market has moved up as well, right? So it's something that goes for all of them, right? It's not related, it's not crypto related, right? It's something on behalf of the whole world in all markets and whatever. Okay, so long video. This is just to give you some perspective of what to expect, and then we can see sort of what we can get from that. I still think that I think it's worth taking another try at these levels, right? Because remember that quite often the thing is that let me just show you this one last time before we move. So you're having a formation here. So let's say we're moving into the lows, all right? And you take the long position, okay? And then price moves, you hold it, and then we plummet. If you were looking to short this, right, you're having the same, right? So if we did the opposite, right? If you long there, or sorry, if you shorted slightly higher, okay, and then you shorted these levels, and then price just pump. It's the same, right? You never know what will be the outcome of the trade afterwards. We just have to understand in what sentiment, where we are within the market. We understand that we are potentially extremely overextended, but based on previous years for Bitcoin, we expect price to continue. So I rather take take a long here and look for higher prices. And then, if I fail on this, and price moves extend, I will try on the next support and take price. One of these are going to work. I'm confident on that. You can use these cycles to look at Bitcoin. All right, so I hope you got something out of the video. Let's talk later, guys. Peace out.